business advice for tea entrepreneurs. If you're looking to start your own tea business, coffee house, or an online supplement business, I hope that you find this video helpful. I'm going to share with you how the zensteahouse company grew from very humble beginnings to where it is now. For more videos about tea, business, and making a profit, check out Zen's YouTube channel or Zen's corporate website at zensteahouse.com. When I first was getting started with tea, I didn't know much of anything about tea. I learned a little bit while I was overseas. I was in the Navy. I did have a mom who had background in herbology. You know, if we had any scrapes or bruises, she would go to her garden and use it to heal us because she was a medical physician and she knew that what she could grow in her garden was better than the pills that the hospital that she worked at would give. And so I kind of had that on the radar, but I didn't really know much. And what I found out is you can know a lot about tea and herbs and natural healing, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be very good at business. When you are starting off, understand that you have your product and your service that's got to be good, but more than that is the delivery. Do you connect with customers? Are you able to outdo or outperform the competition, not just in price? You know, those are some key aspects when you get started, because there's a fallacy that if you make a good cup of tea, that people will come. Or if you build an awesome organic cafe with great music and awesome staff, that it'll do well. And that's just not the case. So employees, you know, they help me get zensteahouse to where it is today. But when I started, I didn't really know much about employees. I was just kind of working for myself. I did have a partner who was working with me. I did buy him out, and what we did in the beginning was we started selling tea at farmers markets, and we were working tons of hours. I mean, we would wake up early, we'd brew all the teas, prepare for the markets, and then we would be working the farmers market business. And once we got that up and running, then we were able to have employees to help us to keep up with the demand. Now, you know, I was working farmers markets, and then I was brewing the teas and packing everything. And then as soon as we were able to get more locations, I was able to get another employee to help us do more farmers markets. And mind you, I was showing up to every operations. If the teas were being packed, I was there. If the teas were being brewed, I was there. If we were doing farmers markets, I was there. And I was learning how to manage people. I was learning how to be better at packaging teas. You would think it's pretty easy, but there is a science. You know, you can set up a whole assembly line when it comes to packaging teas. The tea blending is not that difficult once you know your ratios and you know you're good on that. But it was the managing people. And I learned over the thousands of farmers markets and several thousands of pounds of teas that I've sold, how to set up systems. So I went from, you know, brewing the teas, packaging the teas, to selling the teas at the farmers markets, to all of a sudden having a brick and mortar location. But I was also there all the time. I was packaging and brewing the teas there and then sending out staff to the farmers markets. And so I kind of learned how to manage people. I got to learn how to be able to sell tea. But you know, there's this other component when it comes to running a tea business, and that is online sales. That was a very difficult thing to learn. And I was learning over the years how to get better at building online platforms and SEO. It wasn't easy, because once you figure out the basics, the algorithms, the technology is already changing. So it's one of those things that if you're going to be an internet entrepreneur selling products online, you kind of always have to be learning. That wasn't the case when I got to the first cafe. I had never worked at a restaurant before. The closest thing I ever had to a cafe was being a pizza delivery guy. And when the farmers markets were running and the employees were packaging the teas, all of a sudden I was at this cafe. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And that took about 1.5 years to learn how to run a cafe. Just learning how to run it took about 1.5 years to do. Mind you, while I was at that cafe, I was still, you know, brewing teas, packing teas. I was learning about the online business. I started doing more videos. building videos is a skill set to be able to shoot it, and that was part of that entrepreneurial route. And then COVID happened, a lot of businesses shut down. The cafe that we were first at which is in Norwalk, that one didn't slow down, and so the opportunity for this cafe opened up, and I was like, I'm going to jump on it. And so we did it, and then I had to learn how to run multiple cafes at a time, and that was another journey. So the moral of the story is when you're on the entrepreneurial route, whether you're selling tea, coffee, herbs, online, that you have to be really good at learning. And you don't have to be an expert. You just have to have that desire to want to improve. Because if you get comfortable, which a lot of people in business, you've heard this, I just want to make enough to be comfortable. Once you get to that point, the technology is changing, the economy is changing, the competition is changing. The tea or the product or the service may not change, but the customer will, because people change. And if there's one thing in business that's for sure, it's change. Hope you found this helpful, and if you want more videos like this, give it a thumbs up.